Hello everyone, this is CodeOdd. Welcome to my tutorial. In this tutorial, I want to show you how to create a very simple login form using CSS, HTML and a tiny bit of JavaScript. This is the end result. We have a box with a box title, two social buttons, our form, and we have this icon here. So if I type something here, you can see that it is hidden, but if I click on this icon, now I can see my password, and if I click again, the password is hidden once again. We have a checkbox and this button. For this project, I want to use flaTUIcolors.com, and I want to use this first palette and box icons. For those icons, click on usage, then scroll down. Let's see, usage as a font, and copy this from here. Now we need two files for this project, index.html and index.css. As you can see, my index.css file is already linked, so we can paste that box icons file, the link to that box icon file, and we are done. Now we can start with the HTML. We have a div with a class of container. Then we have a div with a class of box, our box. Then we have an h1 with the class of box title. So we say sign in. Then we have that div with the social buttons. And we have our first button type button, class social button. Now we need that Facebook icon. So go back to boxicons.com. Go to the home page and search for Facebook. I want this one from here. Click on font, and this is already copied if you click here. We can paste it right here and then say login via Facebook. Now we can copy this to save some time and paste it right here. Now we have Twitter, so change this class to Twitter. You can actually search for this icon on that website and say right here Facebook. You have to change this with Twitter. Perfect. Let's see what we have right now. Okay, now we can start with our form. We set autocomplete off. We create a div with a class of form block, then label for email inside this div. Give it a class of form label, and then we write your email. Now our input type email, name email, placeholder email, and a class of form input. Now we can copy this to save some time, so we need to copy it 3 times. We have the password, so say password, replace everywhere, password, some stars. Later on we are going to add that icon to hide or show the password, so we have your password. Now we have the remember. For remember, let's say your fact, we have to say remember me. We have to write remember me. So we say type checkbox, name remember, no placeholder, and the class is form checkbox, and we have to move this above the label, and we are done. And now we need that bottom, that login button. So we have another div with a class of form block, and we have button type submit, class form button, and we say login. Save, go to the browser, and this is the end result. Now it's time to write the CSS. We start with a universal selector, and we say margin 0, padding 0, box sizing border box. We do this to reset the margin and the padding for every element, and to set the box sizing to border box. Now the body body font family sans serif, color 333. Okay, now we can work on our container. We give it a max width of 450, just in case there is no enough space. We want a max width, but if there is no enough space, it can take less than this. We give it a height of 100 viewport height, so it's 100% of the viewport or the visible area of the web page. What we see: margin left auto, margin right auto. We give it a display of flex, justify content center, align item center. We want to align that box to put it in the center of this container. Perfect. Save and let's see the result. Perfect. Now we need to start working on that box. We say border 1 pixel solid CCC, and let's give it a padding of let's see, padding 25 pixels top and bottom, 20 pixels left and right. Let's see the result. Perfect, but we need to give it a width of 100%. Save. Okay, and the border radius of, let's say, 10 pixels. Let's see the result. Perfect. I think we are done with the box. Now the box title, font size of 30 pixels. Let's say a color of let's see what color to choose. I think 222. And let's say margin bottom of 30 pixels. Let's see the result. Perfect. Now those social icons, social buttons, we give it a margin bottom of, let's say, 20 pixels, a display of flex and flex direction, let's say column. Save and go back to the browser. This is what we want. Now we want to add some margin to the first social button, so we say social button first child, say margin bottom 10 pixels. Perfect. And now we have to write the CSS for the social button for each one of them. So we say social bottom outline none, border 1 pixel solid, and now we need a color from here, this one. Copy, paste it. Perfect. And now we need to give this a padding, so we say padding, let's say 15 pixels, well, let's say 8 pixels top and bottom, then 10 pixels left and right, and a font size of 15 pixels. Save it and let's go back to the browser. Looks good. We want to give a background color of white. Looks good. And now we want to give it a border radius, let's say 10 pixels. Perfect. And we want to give the same color to the text, so we say color, let's say 3-4. Okay, this one. Save. We go back to the browser. This is perfect. We can also say display flex, let's say align items center, just to have our items centered. And one more time, justify content center, in the center both horizontally and vertically. Okay, now we can increase the font size of those icons, so we say social button I font size, but I think we have to give them a class. Let's see, let's say social icon, and one more time social icon. Save it. So we have social icon and give it a font size, let's say 15 pixels. save and go back. Let's say more, 18 pixels. And we have to give it a margin right of 10 pixels. Save and let's see the result. Perfect. Now it's time to work on that form. So we have the form block. We'll give it a margin bottom of, let's say, 15 pixels. Looks good. Now the form label, we give it a display, one moment, display block. Let's see the result. Perfect. Give it a font size of 16 pixels and a margin bottom of, let's say, 10 pixels. Let's see the result. Okay, now those form inputs, so we have the class form input with 100%. We give it a box shadow of inset, so inside the element, 0 pixels, 1 pixel, 1 pixel, RGBA 0, 0, 0, then 0, the opacity 0.75. Let's see the result. Okay, now we have to give it a padding of let's say 8 pixels top and bottom, 12 pixels left and right. Perfect. And a border radius of 3 pixels. Save and let's see the result. Okay, but we also want to give it a outline of none and a border of 1 pixel solid CCC. And let's see the result. Perfect. Now it's time to work on that checkbox, but we still have to add some properties here. Let's say color, I think 444, and font size, let's say 16 pixels. Save and let's see the result. Looks good. And now I think we are finally here. We can actually give form input and target a focus, and let's say border 1 pixel solid and then that color 3, 4. Save it and let's see the result. Refresh. Perfect. I think we are done with this. Now we can focus on that checkbox thing, and let's see, let's look. So we have our checkbox right here. The input has a normal width 14 by 14 and the label has full width because it has a class of form label. Let's see. So our checkbox, let's give it a class form label checkbox. Save it, and I think it looks good the way it is, but we can make it much better. Let's see. So we have this form block. We can actually add a new class form block checkbox. Let's go back to the code, to the CSS styles, and let's write form block checkbox. Then we say display flex, align item center. Let's see the result. Okay, and now we have that form checkbox, and we give it a margin right of, let's say, 10 pixels. We are almost there. You can see that it looks quite good. Finally, the login button. So we say form bottom, outline none, border 1 pixel solid, and right now I want this color. Okay, we give it a padding of 8 pixels top and bottom, 12 pixels left and right. Let's see the result. We give it a width of 100%, background color of that 3-4. Perfect. Let's see the result. Looks good. A color of white, font size, let's say 16 pixels. Let's see the result. Okay, a border radius, I think 3 pixels. Save it. Let's see the result. Looks pretty good. And we also want to give to write the focus form button. Well, I think the hover we have to do for this one. So we say background color, the second color, the darker blue, this one. Save, and let's see the result. Perfect, but we also want to give it a cursor of pointer. Cursor pointer. Save, and let's see the result. Good. I think we have to do the same here, yes, and to also have some hover effect. So let's scroll to social button. We give it a cursor pointer, and then we have social button hover, and we say background color. Let's see that 3-4. Save. Let's see the result. Perfect, but the color of the text has to be white. Save. Refresh. Perfect. And now finally we can add that icon to the password field. So what we have to do is to go to our HTML, put this in a div. Let's give it a class to this div. So we say pwd, let's say icon, and now we need that icon from box icons. Let's say hide. We need a hide icon, so we use this icon from here. Font, we copy it and we place it right here, and we say pwd icon, like that. And this is all we have to do, and if we see the result, it looks like that. So we have to go to our CSS, I think right here, pwd icon. We say position relative, so we can position that icon absolute. So we say pwd icon, give it a position of absolute, right 10 pixels, top 50%, and translate on Y minus 50%. Put it in the center. Let's see the result. Looks pretty good. We want to give it a cursor of type pointer and a font size, let's say 18 pixels. Looks pretty good. And now it's time to add the JavaScript. So we have script. Now we need that icon here, const pwd icon. We say document query selector, and we need that class pwd icon. Now we need that input, const input, let's say pass input, document query selector, and we target that input with the type with the name of password. So we say we start with a pair of square brackets, the name, then password. Let's see that everything is alright. Console, looks good. Now we have to listen for a click event on that pwd icon. So we say on click function. Now we have to check the class of this icon. So we say if pwd icon contains, and we search for bxs dash, and then we have hide. If it contains that class, we have to remove it. So we say pwd icon class list, remove this one, bxs hide, and then add a new class list, add bxs show. This is the class for the eye. So if you go right here and search for show, you can actually see the I right here. I think it's this one. This is solid. We have font. Let's see. Yes, I think it's that one. Okay, so if it does not contain that class, but one more thing that we have to do is to set this input pass input to set the type to text. And if it does not contain that class, it means we want to hide it. And we say right now, add this class, remove this one, and put this back to password. Save, and let's see the result. Right now the password is hidden, and if we click here, it seems that we have some kind of error. So node contains argument 1 is not an object. Let's see. So we have pwd icon, document query selector. If it contains that class, let's see, pwd icon. Let's see if that object is found, that element is found. Save. So we can see that it is found. Well, we have to write class list because we are checking the class list if it contains that class. My mistake. Okay, save. Let's do it once again and click right here. Okay, right now we can see our password, and if we click again, the password is hidden. Well, that's it with this tutorial. I hope you have learned something really useful. See you next time.